Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for this exciting webinar presented by TravelProfessionalNews.com and TravelProfessionalCommunity.com. My name is Andy Ogg, and today we are joined by Lee Zanello of Flight Centre Independent for a great topic: market trends and expert tips. Give your group travel and your cruise clients the absolute best. Lee Zanello is the General Manager for Flight Centre Independent, Flight Centre's host agency solution. Ryan Atwell is the team leader for the Groups Center, Flight Centre's dedicated agent support team for all things groups. Andrew Jones is the Director of Product and Supplier Relations for Cruise for Flight Centre. All three are passionate about supporting the independent agent community and helping agents build their own successful and profitable businesses. Please remember that you are all muted, but questions and comments can be typed into the comment section. And let's welcome Lee to the stage for this exciting webinar. Lee, the ship is yours to command, and thank you for being with us today.
Andy, thank you very much. It's a pleasure as always to join you guys. And hello, everybody. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to sit in on a presentation that we hope we bring some value to the table. I'm here on behalf of Flight Centre Independent to talk about two very important parts of our business. When we look at Flight Centre and Flight Centre Independent, I mean, we deal with everybody. We've got a whole host of product ranges out there. We have our own internal product. We have a lot of air partners, too many to list in one little column there. Obviously deal heavily with ITC, cruise, river cruising, and a lot of tour partners as well. And what we're seeing is huge trends towards agents booking not only group travel, but cruise travel as well, and then combining those two for cruise groups. So I thought, what better way than to invite two of my best friends here at Flight Centre onto the WebEx to share some of their expertise. As Andy announced, we've got Ryan here. We're going to focus on the Group Center first. How are you today, Ryan?
I'm doing fantastically. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for coming on in. We're going to talk a little bit about groups, about tips and tricks for agents on how to do those groups. I've got a few questions. Now, we haven't prepared this, everybody. This is not a script. We're not reading from a script here, but we do have some questions that we'll post on the screen here that'll help guide the conversation a little bit. So let's start first of all, Ryan. What is your role with Flight Centre, and can you describe your team a little bit, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Andy mentioned, I'm the team leader of our Group Center, which is a dedicated service we offer to our consultants and our Flight Centre independents to help them support them through the group booking process. My team currently consists of myself and one other colleague, and in order to meet the demand of group travel, which is growing quite extensively, we're actually growing as well. Now, between the two of us, we do have 14 years of experience within just Flight Centre, and that ranges from consulting, leading teams, and also to additional support for our consultants.
Excellent. And you guys are looking to grow. You help out our consultants who are having basically inquiry around group travel. How would you classify group travel?
Yeah, so quite simply, us specifically, we deal with the air and land side of group travel. Cruise you'll hear about a bit later. So from the air perspective, air groups are considered 10 passengers or more. And if there's anybody who's using a GDS out there, you're aware that you can only ever hold 9 spaces at most in the GDS. So anything above that is considered a group. From the land perspective, hotels have different views of what technically is a group. Some of them will consider about 5 a group, some 10, some 26. So it's a little less clear in that space, but that's why we're here to help our consultants understand that process.
Excellent. Now I go back to my days as a consultant, as a selling agent, and groups, I'll just be honest, scared the hell out of me when I first started.
Yeah, me too.
But I know that there's a lot of benefits. What are the benefits of booking a group?
So yeah, there are a lot. Primarily what we're looking at with groups is that obviously we want a great experience for our clientele, something that's easy for them. You know, if you've got a group of 50 plus people trying to manage their own bookings, but all trying to do the same thing, it can get a little frustrating, I'm sure. So what a lot of airlines will do as an incentive, because it also makes their lives easy, for example, they will supply what's known as a tour conductor, which is a compensated fare. So this encourages bookings. They also include seat selection. Some of them include baggage. So there is a great opportunity when booking a group. And you also often save on the fare. They'll give you, I wouldn't call them discounted rates, but quite often better fares than what you could get if you were trying to book all those people individually.
Excellent. And it's not easy to book a group. What are some of the challenges of booking a group?
Yeah, you know, the first challenge anybody ever faces when they're booking a group is that fear of booking the group. It's like you say, you've been there. Yeah. When I was a consultant, I remember the first time a group came in and it terrified me. And you know, a lot of that has to do with just not knowing where to start. So it's completely justified. Now, what we try to tell our Flight Centre independents and our other consultants and our other brands is that, you know, booking a group is kind of like a kiwi. So not the people, not the bird, I'm talking about the fruit.
Okay.
The reason for this is when you look at a kiwi, you have the brown, hairy exterior, which is often viewed as an obstacle, right?
I wish I had a picture of a kiwi on the screen right now. That's in my mind.
I wish I had a kiwi to eat. They're yummy. But what you find is as you peel away the layers of the kiwi, it's actually quite easy to get to the nice, juicy, bountiful core that, you know, also known as money.
I like this. Okay. So
lots of money to be had.
The green, actually.
The green,
yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's one of the biggest challenge. Now, the other challenge that people face is organization.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with that amount of people, it's a lot. And if you're trying to manage that in other bookings, it can be too much. So what we do at Flight Centre, we do have a lot of tools to help us stay organized. One such tool, which I'm going to show you in just a minute here, is Cvent, which is a market-leading registration site, which can be used for all types of different event registrations. And it's just a great way to collect your client's information, so you're not having to make all those phone calls 50 times a day. So
the site that we're about to see here, Cvent, that's available to basically any agent to help them keep their group organized, right?
Yes, exactly.
And they kind of work with you guys one-on-one, so you get that boutique kind of niche service from your team, so that they're using these sites. Can we take a look at it?
Yes,
if I can click on this, see if my PowerPoint skills work and it opens up properly. Look at that.
There we go.
Okay. What are we looking at here?
Great. So I'm just going to walk everybody through sort of what we have here. So this is a mock site that we've created just to have a look at kind of the things you can do. So they're very customizable. Now, when your clients are starting on the page, so this one's set up for a destination wedding, as you can see. So there's a lot of information you can have available to your clients. You can have the accommodation and travel insurance options that you might be offering, price points, so the client knows what they're doing before they go into the registration. You can also include things like additional excursions if you want to sell those. So you know, not only is it a great way to organize your information, it's a great way to sell add-ons, which, as we know, is huge in the travel industry, especially with a group. You can include the flight information for your clients here, terms and conditions. So obviously, anytime we're booking, we need to have certain terms and conditions in place to make sure that we are protecting ourselves as well.
I was just going to say, on the terms and conditions, what I like about that is that groups are ever changing. You know, look at this, what's happened in the last month with all the tropical storms. If there's ever information you need to get out to everybody traveling in a group, you can just update this site and everybody knows to go there for the information. That's
absolutely
super helpful. Yeah.
Yep, because the sites can remain active even after the registration deadline is passed.
Right.
People can still go in to view information.
Great.
At a later stage. And then, of course, you can have your contact details here, very important. So if anybody has any questions about what you're offering or anything else about it, they can just go here and it sends an email directly to our consultants. Okay?
Excellent. Yeah.
So that's just the home page, the landing page, if you will. Now, if we go through into the booking stage, so you see it's very straightforward. System asks for your information, so we'll just fill this out here.
I'm careful when you're actually putting your real contact details.
Oh, I'm not going to put it in there. We're getting all sorts of emails. Okay, now what you can also do is if you have multiple room categories available, for example, you can select an option there.
Invalid email address.
Oh.
I got you here. I'll use my favorite, test@test.com. There you go.
So now we can see too that the system catches any error, so you know the information you're getting is accurate. Now I'm obviously not going to fill in all my passport information here or my date of birth. Today I'm going to be very old, possibly the first person of Canada. And then I'm just going to type quickly through these here so you can see. So all this information, and this is customizable as well, so you can specify more information if you feel you need it from your clients. We've included, for example, dietary restrictions. Always great if you have a client going to a resort maybe, and the resort needs to know. We don't want anybody dying on these trips, especially not if it's a wedding.
And again, agents work directly with you on those customizable fields, right?
Yep,
Yeah, okay,
exactly. Gotcha. And then along the process as well, if they're adding a guest, they can do that here. I'm just going to skip that stage basically follows the same process.
Doesn't like your fake city.
It really doesn't. Let's just make one here.
Probably give yourself a good phone number too.
Oh, the old standard movie phone number?
Put another 5 in.
Oops.
So then the idea here is that your clients are able to fill this out themselves. They're able to connect through and fill out a page. I love how detailed it is, that it is going to catch absolutely every error that you make.
But it doesn't seem to know what the address is. There we
There you go.
Just needed a province. Okay, so then we can see on to the next page. We've collected the registration information there. We have, again, more details about what the passengers will be booking. And then, of course, they can select their actual room category. So this is great. They know what they're going into. They know what they're going to be paying at the end. They just need to select it here. So we'll go with the single occupancy. I will be going solo on this trip. Okay, next
Sorry, I
stage.
made you laugh, but
Yeah, thanks, Lee. And then the second page here, so we've added insurance as an example, but as well, you can have, if you're dealing with a corporate event, for example, and maybe they have different breakout sessions. This is where your clients can register for those different breakout sessions as well, and optional excursions. So we'll just say I'm going to need medical coverage for this trip. Okay, and then if I was booking a guest here, or any additional guests, I can indicate here so I know who's rooming with me, which is nobody in this case.
mm-hmm.
And then in the final stages, we get one last summary page for confirmation, and then your clients can go into I'm ready to make a payment phase. Now, obviously, we're not going to be applying payment to this today. I don't need to spend $15.50 on a fake vacation. So this will be the final page before your clients have the option to enter if they're paying cash or debit, in which case that might not be applicable. But if they are paying credit card, then there is soon to be a payment gateway installed with this, which essentially clients just go on whenever they want, whether it be 2 in the morning, 12 in the afternoon, book through the whole process, register, and apply payment, and all of that goes to the consultant direct. So there's no extra work that needs to be done with it.
And I think that's amazing. I mean, when we're looking at what the investments that we're making, this not only helps the client have a better customer experience, which is at the core of everything we do at Flight Centre. Think about it from an agent perspective. Why would a client book anywhere else if this is the kind of tool you can offer them for their group wedding or their incentive travel? You're making their lives as easy as possible.
Everybody.
So this is a huge tool for agents that we offer. What other steps are we taking to strengthen our position in the whole group market?
Yeah, so recognizing that there's a huge growth in group travel, we've invested a lot over the past year. Our team is one such example. So having a specialized team in place to support our Flight Centre Independents and the other brands within Flight Centre ensures that groups are converting more often and managed correctly with fewer incidents of error, lost revenue that may be due to contract misinterpretation, for example. We provide a direct and internal line for people, so within our brands, that they don't feel left behind. Good. Right? I think that's key, that when you're doing a group, you don't want to feel left behind. We also work with our trade partners, both air and land, to improve the existing processes we have with them, opportunities to increase our sales. This might include things like access to more information from them, access to resources, negotiation of products and pricing and systems. And then we also run incentives for all our teams within the various brands, including Flight Centre Independent, which might be free hotel stays, FAMs, anything that our suppliers want to offer us.
That's amazing. Now, obviously not everybody on this WebEx is with Flight Centre Independent. I wish they were, but because they're not, there's a lot of people on here today looking just at the group industry and group travel in general. Can you talk to some of the trends that you've been able to identify that are things that are upcoming? So anyone that, again, is not with FCI, just a heads up for their business.
Yeah, absolutely. So from the traveler side of things, I think we can all agree in the group space, the ITC package has reigned supreme for a very long time. And there is a reason for that, and that will still probably stay the same in a lot of cases, especially when we're dealing with destination weddings. The reason for that is that it's just easier to book them and you also get a lot of support in destination. But on the flip side of that, from the corporate perspective, we all expect corporate conferences. You're sitting in a boring meeting room. There's not a lot going on,
right?
But a lot of corporations now are deciding, well, maybe this isn't the best thing for our employees. So we're actually seeing a lot of the all-inclusive, the ITC now with the corporate side of the business. But in a lot of cases, that might be a little more complex because quite often we have passengers traveling from different destination points. So those tend to be a little more FIT, but still going to the resorts.
Right.
From the general leisure space, we're definitely seeing a shift here. So, I think we can all say there's a younger demographic entering the travel market right now. And this is the demographic that grew up going to the standard all-inclusive in Punta Cana with their family, and they're done with it, right? They just want to do something new. They want something unique. So, we're seeing more destinations like Iceland, for example, now is a huge destination for group travel. Maybe customized packages for groups in Ireland and Portugal, all these new destinations. Bachelor and bachelorette parties, we're now seeing a shift from the typical Vegas, which we've been accustomed to for years. Now they're looking at new destinations like Savannah or New Orleans or Nashville, which are coming up quite huge now. So that's, from the travel side, those are a few trends we've noticed. On the industry side of things, so we're talking about our actual suppliers of travel here, they're evolving as well to adapt to the growth of group travel. In the all-inclusive space, as I was mentioning, a lot of corporate groups now are going to these resorts. So the resorts are having to split their event teams. So they have the destination wedding team, and then they also have a corporate event team as well. What else have we got going on here? More custom tour packages for groups are becoming available, recognizing again that people are more interested in something different. What else? So like, for example, if we're looking at Ireland, for example, imagine a group that gets to go on a custom tour of all the pubs and stays in a castle at night.
I like to imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, that's my idea of a great group travel, much better than the typical family reunion.
Absolutely.
I think.
And it actually, that ties into what I'm seeing on the trends on the independent side of things. So, I work with our independent agents right across the country, and one of the growing trends that we see is people reaching out to people in their communities and hosting tours. So I'll put together a group of people, whether it's a church group, whether it's a fitness group, somebody that I'm, or a group, a community that I'm involved with, and I'll put together group travel and actually kind of host and go along as that host. You mentioned tour conductor credits. I'm able to travel for free or at a greatly discounted rate, and I'm bringing that group along, and that's those customized tours. If I'm part of a botany club or a photography club, those sorts of niche tours are out there for that group travel. And you guys, have been doing a great job. I know. Here's me saying thank you to you, because I know you've been helping a lot of our agents put those together. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. That was Ryan on behalf of our group center here, and we're going to shift a little focus because another huge trend, and similarly, it needs that specialized knowledge. I'd like to introduce everybody to Andrew Jones from our cruise center. How are you doing, Andrew?
Hi there, Lee. How are you?
Very well, very well. How's everything happening or working in the cruise center?
Oh, it's always busy as usual, always lots going on, but I'm really happy to be here today. I'm excited to share some of my knowledge and some of what's going on in cruise, specifically group travel as well as cruise.
Awesome. Well, we just ended with Ryan on what's trending in the group space. So let's start with you. What's trending in the marketplace? I guess what you're seeing from the group side as well as cruises.
Yeah, look, it's kind of a nice segue from what Ryan was having to say, because what's trending in cruise, it's forever changing. There's always something new and exciting going on, but particularly in that trending space, cruising has always been a very social activity. So when you get on board, regardless of whether you're traveling as a single traveler, maybe you're traveling with your partner or a family, generally speaking, it's a very social activity. So whether you're dining together as a group, hanging out at the pool, or getting off on board and enjoying day excursions, we're seeing that family reunions and birthday celebrations have always been popular and still very popular today. But just like as Ryan was mentioning, we're seeing lots of new inquiry for bachelor and bachelorettes. And obviously those extend on to weddings on board as well. A big contributing factor for the reason why we believe that these bachelor and bachelorette parties are now wanting to be on board a cruise is the cruise lines have done a great job at trying to compensate or match the all-inclusive resort.
There you go. Yeah, drink packages, that sort of
Drink
thing.
packages is one of the driving factors. So these days, a lot of the pricing that you see, Norwegian, for example, has the free at sea, which includes a beverage package. Celebrity has choose your perk, and one of those perks can be a beverage package. So the cruise lines are doing a great job at really trying to compete with that all-inclusive market. And look, a personal opinion of mine as well, is probably a little bit more exciting to go on a cruise. You're waking up in a different destination every day, as opposed to being in a resort and you're seeing the same bar, the same restaurant, the same palm trees every day.
And outside of that bachelorette space, when you're talking at weddings, I know cruises are very popular because they cater to multi-generations. So when you're looking at family reunions, weddings, that sort of thing, you know, the grandfather and grandmother can be just as happy as the toddler on board a cruise ship with all the amenities they have now.
100%. And, you know, speaking of kids, I've got a fantastic kids club. If you want to be able to drop your kids off first thing in the morning and pick them up a little bit later in the afternoon, or even the evening.
Who would want to do that? I cherish my child. I want to spend every waking moment with her.
So yeah, so look, the kids club on board are fantastic. So you're right, they are multi-generations. But in addition to that sort of family reunions, weddings, bachelorettes and so forth, corporate companies, as Ryan was also mentioning. So a lot of the new cruise ships that are coming out have got great conference space and meeting room space. Right. But we often hear from you know, event planners and the word from the CEO or managing director of the companies that they don't want to be sitting in a boardroom or a meeting space all day, every day. So generally we see a lot of programs with a couple of hours in the morning, and then they pull into port and they're getting off and they've got fantastic team building activities and day excursions planned with their team. So they spend the day getting to know each other, actually having a little bit of a different conversation as opposed to the standard office chat. And then usually they return to the office as a strong, united team, being able to have a different experience, not being in the same place every day.
I love that idea. Yeah, that's excellent. Excellent. Speaking in general, what destinations are popular?
Well, look, Europe has always been strong, and I think that we often hear that in the cruising world, you get on board and you only unpack once. So that remains unchanged. You still get on board and unpack once. But what we are seeing with Europe in particular is the itineraries are changing. So cruise lines are trying to compensate the non-cruisers that have always said, I don't want to leave in the afternoon. I want to see what's going on at night. I want to experience the nightlife. I want to see what the city come alive. So a lot of the cruise lines now are adding into their itineraries like nights in port. So you get to spend that time. And in some of the bigger cities around the world, like Hong Kong, for example, Celebrity Cruises is actually a 2-night stopover in port. So that means you get to have,
that's amazing,
you know, all that time in port, exploring both Kowloon and Hong Kong Island. So you can have a night in each. You don't have to rush around the island in a day to be back on board to be leaving at 4 or 5 in the afternoon. That's replicating through the Middle East. Dubai is another popular stopover destination with 1 and 2 nights. We've got places in South America. So I think in the coming next 2 to 3 years, we'll see more and more cruise lines spending more time in port because that's what the client's asking for.
I love it. And one of the things that I have a hard time with cruising is just staying on top of, you know, the new ships coming out and what's the newest and best thing. What are the next big ships to look out for?
Look, Lee, I'm the same. I'm sort of starting to lose track with them all, but a couple of big ones in the industry for next year is the Norwegian Bliss. This is a purpose-built ship that is going to be, or she's going to be sailing in Alaska, based out of Seattle, and will be sailing from June 2018. Okay. So look, I'm hoping to get on board with that one next year, ironically with a group, supporting the group travel industry. And other than that, we've got the Celebrity Edge. This ship is going to be revolutionary, and I think it really speaks to anyone that has never really been a cruiser before. So if you've got a client that's basically said to you in the past, "Well, cruising's not really for me," I highly recommend that you get online and look up the Celebrity Edge, because the imagery and the videos of this ship that is going to be coming out in December for the Caribbean next year is going to be fantastic. I really think you'll be able to pick up some new cruise clients by having this new product in the market.
That Celebrity is a fantastic company, excellent reputation. We've got a great partnership and relationship with them as well. So, gee, I might try and get on that ship myself. Excellent. I appreciate the rundown of the trends. Similar to groups, I know when I was a selling agent, my first cruise also scared the bejesus out of me. So when we get that first cruise inquiry, that's why you guys are here. You guys are here similar in the group space to help our agents navigate that. So how can our new agents navigate that first inquiry when they've never done one before? What are some tips?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, you know, as I said earlier, like the cruise industry it's extremely overwhelming. There's so many cruise lines, there's so many ships, there's various products, destinations, and so many offers out there. Like it really can be a confusing product to sell. But look, I think that the first and foremost, the thing you really need to do is qualify your client and understand to them what's important. You know, what experience are they looking for out of their cruise? Some of it might be food and wine. So like someone once told me that there's a cruise line or a cruise itinerary for everybody. Okay. So I really think that if you understand what your client's needs are, you can definitely match the ship for them. Family, of course, there's so many great products out there right now. To touch on the Bliss again, the activities and the onboard amenities for kids is second to none. The Bliss is bringing out a go-kart racetrack on board their ship next year.
I love it.
So if you've got sort of young teenage kids that are that wants that kind of experience, then you're going to be able to get that on board the Norwegian Bliss.
Excellent.
One of my hot tips really is to not try to understand all the different cruise lines and all the different products, but just select a few key brands and then really understand what those brands represent. And in that way, when you're talking to your client, you can be really informed on a few key cruise lines and highlight their unique selling points. And that way, you're going to look like the expert to your client without having to name 20 or 30 different potential itineraries. One thing to keep in mind after you've booked your first client is one of the great facts about cruising is that cruisers, once they book their first cruise, they're highly likely to book again. So once you convert them once, they're likely to be a cruise client for life. So that makes your second time experience with the client even easier.
And I'm a big fan of that. I know when I was leading teams, I would always encourage them, especially heading into this October, November, December selling season. Someone wants a beach in the Caribbean, just throw out a cruise there. Just throw out that idea of why not a cruise to try and get them just thinking differently than that beach, because you know that you're now not only building your business for this year, but for future years. Because if you get that client back, their satisfaction rate is through the roof, and you'll have that cruiser, you know, every year in your relationship with them.
Absolutely, and the cruise lines, once your client's on board, they encourage the client to rebook again. So all of the cruise lines do have an onboard booking offer. A lot of the cruise lines refer to the future cruise deposit. So this is a great system or a process that's on board. And look, we highly encourage as agents that you encourage your client to book on board, because that booking will be tagged back to you. So you'll get a confirmation invoice that your client's rebooked. You'll earn the commission. It's just a matter of you getting in touch with the client and qualifying them and seeing where they want to go on their next trip.
That's amazing. And then when it comes down to some of the deals and some of the offers, I know that you know, there are certain times of year when certain offers might come out, and that can help you look like an expert as well, right?
Absolutely. You know, for example, Princess Cruise Lines offer their Sip and Sail campaign, and it's only available in June.
Sip and Sail?
Sip and Sail.
What's on Sip and Sail?
Well, that's the all-inclusive beverage package.
Okay,
so,
gotcha. Yeah.
So while some of the cruise lines may offer it year-round, Princess in particular only offer it for a couple of months of the year.
Okay.
So knowing if your client has traveled on Princess before, or they're inquiring about Princess and they're inquiring about May time, for you understanding what the offers are and when they're available, you can say to your client, look, we're quoting this to you now in May, but let's wait off until June, because next month when you book with Princess, we're going to be able to get that beverage package included for you.
And that's the kind of, I've heard some of my agents come back to me saying that when they contact the cruise center, that's the kind of tip that they really value, that they call you guys, you pass that expertise on, and then they look like rock stars in front of their clients.
100%. And look, the more and more that you talk the lingo and understand the offers that are out there, they repeat from year to year. Yeah. So it's just really sitting down and learning them in the first instance, and then after that, the rest is really quite easy to understand.
So I know you guys are available right off the bat for any FCI agent to call you guys if it's their very first cruise inquiry. You know, you'll help them kind of muddle through and get all their ducks in a row. What sort of tips do you have for more experienced agents? How can we help them?
I think really trying to understand, getting to know your client, understanding what their hobbies are. The reason why I suggest hobbies is because you can tailor a cruise departure or market a group based on that hobby. So if someone's an avid gardener, you know, in that gardening world, often they are friends with like-minded other gardeners. So, you know, they often have social events, they'll do everything together. So if you design something that's garden focused or have a cruise that is garden focused, you can get your client really to do some of the hard work for you. It's like word of mouth. They'll be out there telling all their garden friends, and then you just organically grow. Excuse the pun, that wasn't on purpose.
It probably wasn't.
But your group would organically grow, because you've got people out there doing the legwork for you, and they're obviously very passionate about it as well. And look, you could always incentivize your client by giving them a little bit extra for every time they bring someone on board as well.
That's excellent. And yeah, we're tying the two together. I mean, when you've got experience selling cruises, pulling together a cruise group, let's talk a little bit about cruise groups. If they want to go on a cruise with a group, what are the benefits to the agent and what are the benefits to the client?
Well, cruise groups are hugely beneficial, and some of the benefits of being able to book a cruise group, just like Ryan was explaining earlier in regards to air groups, you get flexible terms and conditions. A big one of the flexible terms and conditions is the financial commitment. Often, you can book a cruise group 2 years in advance, and in fact, booking cruise product is the only product that has that date range in advance. I mean, the air can be 10.5 months in advance, hotels and tours and so forth is a much shorter lead time. So cruise product can be up to 2 years in advance. So if you're booking a group and take out that space, a financial deposit is not usually due until around about 120 days prior to departure.
So you've got this space locked in, better amenities, better negotiated rules and regulations around a better pricing, and you're not needing that deposit until...
Absolutely. So there's the financial commitment, the terms and conditions. You get gap points when you book a cruise. So for those who are not familiar with gap points, those gap points on board can be converted to onboard gifts, such as bottles of wine or onboard credit, so free money at the spa.
I like the sound of that. Now, if I wanted to put together a cruise group, this is something that our agents can call you guys for as well.
Absolutely, right? Yeah. So we, in addition to the group center, we have the cruise center. So we have a team of people down there that are experts in putting together group cruise itineraries, or helping you choose the correct itinerary, helping you explain the terms and conditions, helping you manage that. And then also you could also have a C-event site as well, issued by groups that if you wanted to go out there and really have that event marketed.
I love the support, and I mean, this is what it comes down to, and the reason for the WebEx today when we're talking about these two centers that we have, the group center and the cruise center, they really do help our agents connect and get that sort of support. What we're looking at here is a picture of Ryan. This was you at our April conference here in Toronto, working your magic with the crowd. Within FCI, our agents get together at a number of events over the course of the year, and we connect with our industry partners, various preferred partners, a lot of product knowledge, and that's where we start to pass on this real expertise. We don't have a photo of Andrew Jones here today, but at the same conference, we had Lara Licata, who works with our Cruise Center Canada as well, talking, training, getting our agents passionate and excited, not only about selling the product, but knowing that they have somebody backing them, knowing that they have an expert on the other end of the phone that they can call to walk them through any tricky parts of the conversation. This is the group of agents that we had here in Toronto, so a strong, healthy group. And we go international as well. We were just in Tulum just a couple of weeks ago for our conference there, where again, we were exploring tours, group tours. That was the big focus for us in Tulum. Guys, I really want to thank you very much today because you really help us sell FCI as an agency that offers support unlike any other host agency here in Canada. The reasons for why anyone will become an independent are up here on the screen, but the parts that you guys help highlight today are that you're really backed by Flight Centre. This is, you guys offer support not only to all our Flight Centre stores, but to our independent agents as well. You really offer that travel expertise. And yes, we're a big company, we're a global family, but you guys provide those local contacts and local connections. And I know from talking with you both, you've become endeared to a lot of our agents. You have that close working relationship with them because these are sometimes turned into, year-long, especially you, Ryan, a year-long event to put together a group like this. You're working with agents all the time. So I want to thank you because you really help us live up to our promises to be the best host agency in Canada. So thank you guys both for your time. This has been Ryan Atwill from the Group Center, Andrew Jones representing our Cruise Center Canada, and I'm Lee Zanello representing Flight Centre Independent. And that is the time we have for today. Andy, are you there?
I am. Sorry about that, guys. I just had to unmute myself. Thank you guys for such an awesome presentation. I had no idea that Flight Centre had these different areas going on, and what a useful tool for so many agents. That's really great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And again, thank you to everyone who took the time today to watch the presentation.
Absolutely. Well, Flight Centre has been generous enough to provide a $50 gift card to one lucky attendee. To win this gift card, you need to type in the answer correctly in the question column of your screen. The first person that types the answer correctly will win a lovely $50 gift card. So here we go. Drum roll is, what are the names of the 2 dedicated support teams to help independent agents with specialty inquiry? You guys can just go ahead and type those answers in, and we'll find out who won. Right. Look at them coming in. It looks like we've got a winner, Joseph Mayett. Congratulations on your win. Great work, and thank you guys so much for attending today. Joseph will be in contact with you, the winnings, and thank you again to Lee, to your entire team today for you guys making the time and sharing such great information. This webinar will be recorded and active on travelprofessionalnews.com as well as homebasedtravelagent.com and travelprofessionalcommunity.com by the end of the day. And thank you guys again, and thank you all for attending. We really appreciate your support and your ongoing efforts.
Thank you very much, Andy. Cheers.
Cheers. Have a great day, guys.